Well folks, welcome back to the workshop to another long power tool repair video, or hopefully a long power tool repair video. These are three Makita SDS Plus hammer drills left on for repair from the same customer. There are three of the exact same models and they're all from an auction, a tool auction place. Generally these can be a bit iffy whenever they come on for repair. Tool auctions, you don't really know what you're going to get. Sometimes they're just faulty and you get a bargain, they just need to be fixed up. A lot of times they're burnt out or not worth fixing and they just keep going back through the auction again and again. Somebody buys it, finds out it's not worth fixing, and then just puts it back into the auction again, and then somebody else buys it. So it can be a wee bit iffy if these are going to be worth it, but we're going to take them apart and see if we can fix these things up. So there are three Makita hammer drills, SDS Plus, and they come with bird shite standard. So these things have been sitting up for a long time. They are Makita HR3210Cs. Very good machines, don't get me wrong. So hopefully they can be fixed up and fixed up for cheap. But let's find out. Let's take them apart and see if we can fix them. We'll start with the one on top. And this one as well, this video, we're starting off first machine on the nice new workbench. Nice new cover on it of lino. And the first thing is, what age is this thing? 2019 actually, it's not that old. And there was a note with this one, and it says won't hold the bits. That is actually a good sign. If it only just needed a new tool holder, we'd be laughing with this one, because the tool holders do have a tendency to wear out. I'll see what she does here first. That actually sounds alright. The tool holder is worn out, so it is the standard problem. It's not locking on the butler. It can just spin away and doesn't stay in. See if she hammers. Alright, we're looking good for a cheap fix on number one anyway. I've done videos on this repair before, replacing this tool holder. It's a common repair. These are a fairly heavy duty industrial machine, the HR3210Cs, an 850 watt SDS Plus hammer drill. These are what you buy when you're doing drilling all day long. So these things do a lot of work. So it's not surprising after, what age this was, 5 or 6 years of work, that it'll wear through the wee keyways and the tool holder. Everything else is still good, it's just the keyways that stop the bit from rotating that's worn out. So we'll see if we can change this and see if we have one in stock. A little bit of rusted, or else just dirty. Actually probably just dirt by the looks of it. So it needs a bit of a cleaning there. Also, them balls have been knocked out. That's not a big deal. The top here needs a wee bit of a wash as well, but that's not a big deal either. I'll dismantle this first. How would you spin around? Get a better grip of you. I'm not going to do a full strip on this because it might not need it. Motor sounds good, it's hammering fine. This is the only problem, we'll be getting out lucky. Actually, before I take that out, I'm just going to wash this first, and I don't have to wash everything else as well. Now, we're safe to take it off. It's easier to clean it now when it's sealed up than to try and actually dismantle it and then keep it clean after I take this off. Try to keep all this in if you can. It's not a big deal if it comes out. But it's handier if you just keep it on. And then see if you can pull these pins out. There's one. Yeah, just going to take it out. Washer off as well. Take it out actually because that's a bit slack. Shouldn't really pull out that easily. So we'll change the O-ring in that hammer as well. Four pins. If we could get all four out. There we go. Pull them out. Then your tool holder. Pull straight out. Remove your hammer or your impact bolt. That is your tool holder. You look straight down the middle. There's no keyways inside. So that's the problem with this one. Yeah, this could be tight going. 3 machines, 2 tool holders, 2 O-rings. Let's hope there's not much wrong with the other ones. I might have more O-rings here in the workshop, but I will have to go searching for them. I'd assume I would have these because they'd be fairly common. That's the part number there if you're ever needing the O-rings, 213283-5. The tool holders cost around 34 plus the VAT, and they're 324840-5. Like I say, fairly common, you'll pick them up fairly easily. Yeah, not going to wash this whole thing out because there's nothing actually wrong. That O-ring also looks pretty good. Pull the tool bag back up here. But seeing as there's slack in the holder, we'll just replace it. It's a lot easier and cheaper just to replace it now than later. So the hammer O-ring, change that, and we'll also change the piston one. But that means we'll have to strip her down a wee bit more too. Just put a big dollop in the middle too to have in reserve. And that we can get rid of. Fit this. Well, we'll have a wee look in the middle just to compare. As you can see, these are the two keyways you need. Without them, your butt will just spin around inside. Your SDS Plus bits have 4 wee cutouts. 2 for the keyways and 2 for the wee balls, steel balls. These are for holding it in. So the balls lock it in, but that's what the grooves for, so they can move back and forth. And these here 2 keyways stop it from rotating. The balls aren't strong enough to actually stop it spinning. So if these keyways wear out, the balls just allow it to go back and forth. But once you start drilling, they'll slip and the whole thing will just slip out. The keyways are the only thing to keep it hammering or keep it spinning. One thing I just want to check is these two. These rarely need to be changed, but that fluoride ring can sometimes wear out. Now that one's okay. I'll leave that as is. Just get a bit of grease squeezed in there. And we'll just get some down on here and around here. That in there, and drop this back into your assembly. It's just a matter of lining it up, sticking your wee pins back in. It'll be a little bit tight because I put grease on them as well, so I have to squeeze the grease on. Get them on full. Washer over the top, see what I mean? And sort of just holds them back a wee bit. And also just change this. Have to pull off the handle too. At least a little bit. No, I'll have to take it off completely because there's a spring on there as well. Lovely. Might as well clean that a wee bit too since we're at it. You have to take that off to get onto this. so that we can pull out this conrod. It's a wee bit dry in this too actually, so it's a good job we're doing this. Put a bit of extra grease in it as well and keep it hammering right. Grease actually made it all this thing needed instead of the O-rings. But seeing as we're in it, you may as well just change them. It's easier to do it now than come back and doing it again, especially for the price of a few O-rings. And keep her hammering like new. Back on there again now and get it back in. Oh, I might even need to get it on. Just need to get that tool holder on it. Bit of grease, hammer on. Now we top up. There's a heavier grease, I'll put the lighter stuff on top. Now can I get it on this way? So you have to line it up to the piston. And when the piston's on, you have to actually line up the grooves for the tow holder. I'm going to pull that back. Easier to get this on first. If it's all the way back here, it actually centers the piston a little bit better too. There's not very much grease in this thing at all. So these grooves here have to go into the grooves on the body here on the aluminium housing. They have to line up first, and if they go on, piston should go on a lot easier. There's still other pieces on here. There's another fluoride ring or rubber bump at the front of here for holding these pins on, and a steel washer, but they're alright sitting inside. They'll go back in themselves when I push this on. They're all the same, aren't they? I think so. There's no direction. There's a direction. Flat end has to be down here. Little plit. Let's go back into here. This sits on top of this wee fork, which selects and deselects hammer and drill mode. And as this ring up on top, it's actually got onto. I'm just going to give us another clean out here now while I'm at it. And so this back section open now. Give it another quick wee clean and just quickly clean this too. Now, you might think cleaning that machine is just going above and beyond for the customer, or you might just think he's just showing off, just doing it for the video. But to be honest, cleaning the outside of the machine here, leaving it looking fresh, is just going that little bit further for the customer, making sure it looks good. But cleaning the inside is not. Customer does not see this. This is for me. Not because of OCD, I like to leave everything absolutely perfect, but just in case the customer comes back with it faulty again and says it did no work and the repair wasn't right or something, you can always just crack the thing open and have a look inside. The inside of this is now filthy dirty, and dust and grit and dirt all inside of it the next time it comes in. You know rightly, it's been doing an awful lot of work. So I just sometimes clean up the inside so I have a comparison to know how much it's done since I've had it on. So you clean up the outside for the customer so you show you've actually done something. Just leave it right for them. But the inside is more for the repairman. Because I don't actually know this customer at all. Don't know this person. Not that I'm saying that it could be a dodgy customer, it could be complaining or anything. You just want to make sure yourself. Make sure you are covered yourself. Because at the end of the day, this machine is still out of an auction. It's not to say it's the customer's machine and he knows exactly how much work it's done. He's bought it in an auction and he has no clue how much work it's done. Nor do I. Cleaning out the inside gives me a set point to reference back to. But these things, honestly, probably never see this thing again until either the motor's burnt out, it's worn out, or this tool holder wears out again. They are fantastic wee hammer drills. I've done videos before on the other HR3210C, I think it is, the SDS Max machine. We always get them in for repair from boys doing insulating fixing or drywall pumping. They need the SDS Max, but they don't want the weight. That machine is actually one of those here. They actually converted these with a bigger tool holder to take an SDS Max hammer as well. So this is big enough for heavier work, but this only doing an SDS Plus chisel. So they are well made machines. Just get this tool holder rebuilt right this time actually, because the balls weren't fully installed, or at least got knocked out. They rarely ever wear out either of these balls. They do become lost, but they don't actually wear out. Ever do SDS Plus chisels or SDS Plus drills, they all take a 7mm steel ball. So you can easily replace them if they do ever wear out on you. And that should hopefully be this one. Ready for work again. Now, what a pain. Took a phone call there halfway through that. I got muddled up and forgot where I was. And I was even new when I was rebuilding this and forgetting something. Didn't put grease on it. Probably get away with it because I already put grease on the piston and the hammer. But I'd rather just have it inside the chisel or the tool holders, the hammer section too, when I just know it's right. It's a good job they're easy to open. like you already said, I have to take the handle off for that spring. All that just so I can pump a bit of grease on. I'm just using the Bosch one here. It'll do nicely. 20 or 10 or 20 or 30 mil roughly. That's all you should really need. It's probably a little bit too much if I'm being quite honest, but that'll do the job. Down here was a little bit dry too. It's a pain having to open up again and do the same thing just for something you forgot. But at least you know it's right then. It's a lot easier to go back now and fix it and leave it right than for it to cause a problem later on with the customer and you have to fix some bigger problems then. Now the other thing I'm going to do is just check the brushes on this thing. Because if it's worn through a tool holder, I could easily have worn through a set of brushes as well. Now, second time lucky. Just peek in here. See what they're like. Actually, they're fine. They're nearly brand new. Leave that as is. Right, see what she runs like now. Through all the settings, like she should. And she's holding the chisel and see what she hits like. Not so bad. Running like new, as she should. Not so bad. Less than €100 for that repair. I think it cost about 90 or so to change that tool holder, grease and the O-rings. I think altogether that's what it probably cost. Less than 100 anyway to fix it, and €600 to replace it. That's how much these things actually go for. So that man's not getting out too badly for that thing. Especially since it's out of an auction, I probably didn't spend an awful lot of money on it. Especially, and if he bought 3 of them, they must have been fairly cheap as well. So I'd say he's got his money back on this here one alone. So that's that one fixed. We'll see what the next one's like now. Now, this one says different. Exact same model again, HR3210C. This one's actually younger. It's 2021 machine. So this one's only 4 years old. But it also has a little note with it, and it says won't turn over. So this one's a wee bit more iffy, especially when you hear rattling like that. Right, this one might not be as lucky, and whoever sold it probably knows it. Screws are missing. Look. There's bits falling out everywhere. So that is the resin holding the windings on the armature. So the armature's cooked on this one. Not sure if they're new brushes or not. They don't look as badly worn though as the rest of the machine. Let's just see. Not brand new, but not old either. They haven't done very much. Right, we'll get on and have a look. We'll see the armature's probably gone on this. Yeah, screws are missing down here too. Well, the good thing about this is if the other one is also faulty or needs parts, if one is not worth fixing, like this one, if it needs an armature, you still have the spare parts from one of them. So you can always make one or two machines out of the three. That's my advantage of buying three of the same things at an auction. Obviously nobody's going to take this far. Normally when they go on up here, this screw is the first thing that goes missing. It never gets put back in again. Here's the rest of the bits for the armature. So this has been burnt out a while, I would say. Get out the good new vessel screwdriver. Need two for this. One to push in, one to prise up. Well, actually, you can also just push the wee pin and sort of prise it up a wee bit to jam it. You need two. So you can either jam it up like that, or just push it in and lift. You need to get these dampers off anyway, to get the motor section out. They cover these here screws. Tool holder is one thing, but I'm not sure if he's going to want to put a motor under one of them. Be worth it if it was his own machine that he's had from new. I don't know how much he's paid for these things. Replacing a whole motor would be a little bit more expensive. Feels a little damaged, but you would get away with it, I think. Didn't actually break the windings. You can see they're chipped a little bit, or they've been knocked about from this resin coming off and the armature spinning and just hitting around inside of here. You still see some of it there, look. That's where that there stuff came from. That's off the armature. Should have been a wee resin coating all the way around here. Should have been just swirled around the windings to hold them down. That's all missing. And that is where she's burnt out. And here as well. You can tell by the colour of this resin here. It's all darkened. That's a good sign she's burnt out, but if all this is missing too, it's missing because this got so hot it all expanded, broke this loose, and then the force of it spinning just basically threw it all off. And once it starts to come off, it bangs against the rest of it and just knocks everything off. So that would have been all wrapped around all the way up here. See, some of it's still stuck on here, look. So that's gone. A new armature needed for a start. The rest of it isn't too bad, mind you. And depending what the other machine's like, we could, well, maybe not actually. Yeah, we could, if we wanted to, reuse that tool holder. But by the time I'm stripping that apart to get the tool holder out, and it's already well past half worn, it might not be worth doing that. If the other one needs one, we still have a fresh one. A new one's going to last an awful lot longer than a worn one. But we'll price this motor first. Right, I actually have one of these in stock, and it's not too expensive. The armature is more expensive than the tool holder, but not by an awful lot more. Just see what the gears are like first. It's a wee bit dry in here actually, same as the last one. But you know, the gears aren't too bad. And they don't have a burr on them. They're not actually that badly worn. The wear on the armature and the crank gear normally happens more on the other model, the one that takes the SDS Max, like I was saying, the HM or HR3210C. If you replace the motor on that one, you really want to replace this gear too. But these SDS drills aren't as bad. I think this thing just got it cooking, and she burnt out before she really wore these gears on. I think we could get away with that. The armature itself, the telltale one, that's actually not badly worn either. Right, I'm going to ring this boy and see if he wants a new motor on it. Right, he says yes. So we'll go for it. I do have one in stock. €110, but that's the list price. That's the part number if you're needing one. This is the same armature as the HR3540, the SDS Max hammer. It's a 513746-4. And list price, nobody ever sells things at the list price. Shops then get a discount on that. And it always works out a little bit cheaper. So that is the motor coming with the bearings and everything on it. So NMB bearings and NSKs. Good quality bearings and a good quality armature. Now, just to pull this thing off of here. Nice clean vise as well. Cleaned the whole thing down. Whenever I changed the worktop cover as well. That fan. Look at that. That was actually starting to fail as well. Now, going by the last machine, which was older, it was 2019. This one's 2021. Going by the wear in the last one, I don't think I need to do much more to this one. Might get away with that air deflector too. The last one I was saying the O-rings probably weren't even that bad. Just probably could have got away with a bit of grease in it. This is younger again, so the O-rings in this one should be okay. And a bit of grease will help keep it hammering because it does look a little dry in here. And if the O-rings aren't too bad, the oil seal should be alright as well. You know if that goes bad because you'll get grease leaking out down on here onto the motor side. So that should be okay for the age of this thing. No, you can compare these two machines anyway because, like I said, it's an auction job and the three machines are together. More than likely, they all came from the same company as well. So whatever company had them originally, they probably stopped working. They probably don't fix their own machines or have anybody to fix them. So they're just sold for cheap, or they go to an auction place or something like that. So they go together as one job lot. The auction place that sells them don't generally grouped machines together unless they've come in as a whole job lot. So these are more than likely from the same company, so they've done the same amount of work for whatever length of time they're running. So this is younger, it shouldn't have done as much work as the last one. So we'll get away with this by leaving the O-rings, leaving the oil seal, topping up the grease, just changing the armature and probably the brushes as well because they are still worn. Yeah, we'll change them. Right, this at least should leave it running like new because it's still a new armature got onto it. Walk that down. I'm not going to wash all this out. The grease is used, but it's not black. And the gears haven't been worn away, so there's no metal debris in it. As long as we keep it clean, it should be alright, but just top up the grease. Now if you ever see your hammer starting to leak grease down around here, you can replace this, or you can reuse it but put a bit of gasket seal on as well, just to keep it on nice and tight and stop any leak. But this one has no leak, so the seal should be alright. Do pull out this cupped washer, put it on here first. It's just a lot easier to assemble like that. I'm going to clean this down as well like the last one. I'm going to have to put on the dampers first before I do that because I don't want the grease or the kerosene getting into this machine. It's either that or reassemble it and wash it down after it's reassembled. We can get a bit cleaner if we do it when it's disassembled. Same as last time, about 20 or 30 mil under there. Try to squirt somewhat up onto here so it gets onto the hammer section too. So only just to plug these holes by taking them out again. Have to take them out again to get the thing screwed together. I'm just going to carefully wash it down like this, trying to make sure this stays closed so no kerosene gets inside. Only cleaning it, I don't need to soak it up here. Just take it easy. Fine wetting it down the side. Right, that's her cleaned up a bit. Just pull these out again now. Just get this back together again. Now this has a wee bit of wear on it, but I just sanded down the wee lump. Melted a wee bit, we're only just up here, so I just filed that back a bit. There's nothing else wrong with it, so that should be fine. Make sure you get your wave washer down inside and drop on your motor. Normally when you get machines like this coming in from an auction site, someone has bought it at an auction and have a burnt out motor, they just go the exact same way. Luckily this man actually wants them fixed. They're not just going in circles. Most people, when you tell them the motor's burnt out, it's going to be what, 100, 150 euro to fix, they just say nah, leave it, I'll just put it back into the auction again to get their money back. That's generally the way it goes. So you could buy a machine at an auction and it could have been bought 2 or 3 times before that. It just keeps getting put back in over and over and over again. You can imagine how much money the auction place makes. But buying them at an auction or even on eBay, it is just a gamble. And I'm guilty of it myself, especially for eBay. But when you get one that's an easy fix and cheap, that's well rewarding. There's nothing better than getting that machine for dirt cheap, especially something like this. A 600 euro machine and only costs 150 euro to fix it. Now obviously it depends on what you've paid for it to begin with, but generally you don't pay an awful lot of money for machines and you're not even sure what's wrong with them or even if they work. It's not like you can actually test them there at the auction to see if they are running even. And like I say, I'm putting new brushes in this one. These ones do look long, but you can see they're still worn quite a bit. They're a big long brush gets under these. They're designed to run for a long time. So they've got big long brushes on them, so they don't have to be changed too often. I want to get this one finished up before lunch, and I might wait until later on in the day to do the other one because I've actually got a helper coming on here now, so I mightn't be able to do the other one while my helper's on here. It's actually my son, who's only 7. He's coming on here for an hour just so I can keep an eye on him. The other one goes to the dentist just for a checkup, mind you, so we'll not be here for too long. But we'll have to get him a couple of machines to work on. There's plenty of scrap ones out in the container I can take on for him to dismantle just for a bit of fun, because he actually loves dismantling stuff and trying to fix things or modify things. I wonder who he takes after. There's nothing else I'm forgetting this time, is there? I do need more screws though, and I think I've seen some in this box. Screws are in there. Another telltale sign if you're looking at a machine at an auction. If you find screws in the box, then somebody's opened it and hasn't even put them back together, put it back together again. But luckily these ones are still here. That should be this one with a new motor. Now let's see what she sounds like. What'll be wrong with that? Make sure she's gone through everything. That's good. Finally, just make sure it actually hammers. Nice one. Couldn't ask for better than that. That's another Makita HR3210 STS Plus hammer drill. Auction special, up and running again with a new armature. New armature, new brushes, bit of grease and a wee clean. 150 gets her up and running again. You're not going to buy one for that price anyway. Now on to the third one, see if we can fix that. Now on to the last one, the last of the three. Back to these now after my wee helpers way back home again. So he actually done not too bad. He dismantled one Makita drill, an SDS, and half of a DeWalt drill as well. The Makita had to just change the switch for him because the wires were a wee bit too delicate. Didn't want to break in a switch, but he dismantled the whole thing no problem. And he got half the DeWalt taken apart. But on to these ones again. This one might get away lucky. We might actually get 3 for 3 out of this lot because this one has a note in it as well, and it also says not holding the bit. So it might again be a tool holder problem with this one, but we don't know for certain because by the looks of it, this one's an awful lot cleaner and an awful lot older. 2017. This one's actually 8 years old. It's a lot older than the last two and a lot cleaner. So did somebody clean this up, trying to make it look better for the auction? We don't know. Let's find out. Well, it doesn't sound great, but it doesn't sound bad either. It's a little bit on the geary side, but not spluttering or sparking from down here, so might be okay. I suppose the main thing is, what's it doing? And what's the tool holder like? Well, actually, I don't know if you can see down in there. There is some remains of the keyways. Well, they're there, but there's not much left of them. But they still should be holding this. We'll see what the crack is. See if she hammers first. Nope, we're on drill. Hammer drill, that's what we want. Right, not so bad. I thought she's going to need a full service there for a second. Mightn't need to do very much to this at all, actually. Does need a tool holder, but we'll see if we need to change it or not. What is going on here? Now that's not hammer grease. That's just tool holder grease. Somebody has been pumping it in, hoping I was going to get that bit moving. Tool holder grease is only just to keep things lubed up and moving. Does not fix broken problems. Well, there isn't even much of a problem, though. This clip's just come loose, or else somebody's had it off. Put this stuff on here to keep the bench clean this time. Yeah, somebody's had it off and reassembled it incorrectly. It's back to front. And there's no balls in her. You can't do much without a set of balls. Right, new steel balls in this. Clean all this out and rebuild this correctly. I think that might get us out, because there is still keyways on this. They're not much, but simply doing this here is a lot cheaper than replacing the keyway, and we don't know how much work this man's going to be giving this thing. At the end of the day, it might be worn a wee bit in here, but it'll still last for a good while, depending on how much work he's actually doing. So clean this out and get it rebuilt. I'll just take this handle off to make sure she doesn't get covered in kerosene. And there's those two steel balls there, look. They're actually still in there. They got swallowed up by the grease and stuck inside that sleeve, look. At least we need to replace them now. Now, that's it clean, and all I really need to do, just like the other ones, I want to see what the inside of this is like now. The inside is clean as the outside. Maybe this has been fixed up before. Actually is clean. A lot cleaner than the others. Not spotless, but definitely cleaner. So I wonder if somebody's actually repaired this before in the past. Potentially, seeing as that's 2017. Maybe they just didn't put the tool holder back together again properly, maybe. Just that was upside down. And that doesn't, it's worn, but it's not weak. It hasn't been spread out or anything. Still good to use. And we'll just give this here a quick wee wipe down as well, so it's the same condition and same level of clean as the other two machines. Right, leave them all looking the same. We'll rebuild this. So just shake the brushes, see what they're like. Again, they're fine. They're not new, but they're not worn through yet. Still more than half the life left in them things. Can't say the same with the tool holder, but by the time they wear out, maybe that there'll be worn out too then. So we can leave it till then. just in case these are damaged or too small. Just check the size. Actually, they are a little bit small. Should be 7mm. 6.75. If I can find the balls now, here we go. These aren't from Makita, these are just from Reliance bearings. You can actually buy these different sizes just from bearing manufacturers or bearing suppliers. Just order yourself a bag of 7mm balls. Instead of paying 50 cents or €1 each from Makita or even more from other brands, buy them in for pennies from a bearing supplier. And just buy them in what, 50 at a time. So they are a bit small, maybe that's why they actually came out. Maybe this failed before and somebody replaced it. With the condition of them, maybe somebody just might have smashed the bearing and took the equivalent size out of a bearing. But they have to be 7mm because there's a tight tolerance. If you go any bigger, they don't go into the hole, and if you go too small, they'll actually eventually slip through or actually be poked out the top like they were. So they have to be 7mm. And this spring does not go on like this. It goes on this way. Because it actually sits or pushes up on this here metal washer, which actually holds the two steel balls. So if you go this way, everything doesn't sit right. Should still work, but it ain't right. Has to go that way. And then these drop in and hold it in place. We can get rid of those. Actually, on second thoughts, that might be a wee bit slack. It's not small, but it's not strong. It is worn out there. We will just change that just in case. Well, if I can find one. This box isn't exactly organised. Some of it is, but most of it's not. Bags keep everything separate, and keeps your part number as well and the price on it. But it's hard to store, it's well messy. That's not it either. I'd be surprised how many different types of C-clip there is. It's looking promising. There we go. That should be the right one. We hope. Yeah, that'll do. Someday I'm going to organise this box again, because I go into this particular box the most nearly. Yeah, it's better. This could have just been a combination of things that caused this to fail or them to come out. So the actual keyways are still on there. You can't see them an awful lot because of that grease now, but you can still see them either side there. They are more than halfway worn through, but they are also still there. So they will still hold the bit. That's what we want. It's still not solid. The tool holder isn't completely worn out. When they get very bad, they get very slack, wobbling all over the place. There's a wee bit of play in this one, but not a massive amount. She's going on, she's locking, and she's coming out. That's the main thing. That's the job. That's another one running. But before I let this one go, I'm also just going to check the grease. Should have done this beforehand, before putting it back together, but I'll just check it now. Probably is alright, but the other ones are a wee bit dry, so this one might be too. Yeah, a wee bit dry. Again, just a little top up we need. She's a wee bit dry and she is worn, but we can tell by the hammer she's far from worn out. Now this one, I'm sure the wording's still there. This one, when it comes to auction machines or eBay finds, this is the one you're looking for. This is why everybody goes out and buys these used machines at auctions and eBays, hoping to find one like this. Faulty, cheap, with barely anything wrong with it. This is the little pot of gold you're looking for. This man got out lucky with this one. Not as lucky with the last two. This makes up for it, because there isn't exactly going to be a big bulb with this. Right. Two wee steel balls and a little clip, bit of grease and some labour. That's all the outlay in this thing. Oh, what am I doing? It's not going to run without that. That's it. 3 Makita SDS Plus hammer drills, the HR3210Cs, all 3 fixed up again, all 3 out of an auction, from the same job lot I would imagine. One with a tool holder, one with an armature, and this one with barely anything at all. Nice one. That should keep this man nice and happy and able to be doing plenty of drilling for a good long time to come, because these things shouldn't need any more work for another few years. They're a very, very reliable and good quality hammer. For an SDS Plus machine this size, these things give very little trouble. Expensive to buy, but definitely good. But anyway folks, that's it. 3 Makita HR3210C SDS hammer drills, all out of an auction and all up and running again. Not often you see that for auction machines. Anyway folks, hope this video is helpful to you, or at least a wee bit entertaining. If you enjoyed them folks, make sure to hit that like button down below, and to help out the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't already. And if you want to help the channel out anymore, you can also become members as well. But till next time folks, hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'll chat to you all again later.